Welcome to Strides. Today we are here with the topic squares and square roots. It is a chapter in class 8, and we are going to it is an introductory chapter. We are going to study about squares and square root. What are the squares, square roots, and where they are used. Okay. Now, before that, I would just remind that those who are new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe for the channel, and the link for other videos that we have already made is given in the description box. So just go through them also. Okay. Now, here studying about squares and square roots. So first, understanding the meaning of the word square. What do we understand by square? What is a square number? So a square number is one which can be expressed. Suppose I take the number m. Okay, then the number m should be such that it is equal to the product of a number and itself. Okay, so the number m, if it can be expressed as n into n, then this number m is called a perfect square or a square number. Okay, so any number m which can be expressed as n into n, then that is called a perfect square. Okay, so here if I say, take examples that 9, then 9 is a perfect square as it can be expressed as 3 into 3. Okay, if I say 25, then that is a perfect square. It can be expressed as 5 into 5. Okay, so any number which can be expressed as a number multiplied to itself, then it is called a perfect square number. If I take the number 225, then that is a perfect square that can be expressed as 15 into 15. Okay, so numbers which can be expressed as the product of a number multiplied by itself, then those are called the square numbers. Now, how do we generally write it? We write it in two ways. Now, I told you about the squares. Okay, square roots are just the reciprocal or inverse of it. Okay, so when I say that 9 is the square of 3, okay, in the same way I can also say that 3 is the square root of 9. So both mean the same, but the way of saying or way of expressing is different. So when we are supposed to find out the square of any number, then we say that we need the square of any number. That means if I ask you that what is the square of 3, then I'll write like this, that 3 square is equal to what? Okay, now the same thing if I want to express as the square root form, then I will say square root of 9 is equal to what? Okay, so here this, in case of square root, we use the radical sign. Okay, so square root is just the opposite of squares. Okay, so we can write the same thing in two different ways. If we write 3 square is equal to 9, or square root of 9 is equal to 3, then both mean the same, but the way of expressing is different here. Okay, so square of 3 is 9, that means 3 multiplied by 3 gives us 9, and the square root of 9 is 3, that means 3 is such a number when multiplied to itself gives the product as 9. Okay, so this is the concept of squares and square root. Square means a number such that which can be expressed as a product of the number multiplied to number itself, and the square root, when we talk about square root, then such a number which when multiplied with itself gives the particular number. Okay, so this is the concept of squares and square root. Now we have written squares of numbers up to 20 here. Now let us observe that what is similar in these numbers. What are the characteristics of these square numbers? Okay, so let us observe these numbers and deduce something from it. Okay, now the first thing, if we see here, then the square of 1 is 1. Okay, and we talk about the square of 11, then that is 121. Okay, so that means the numbers which are having 1 at the units place have 1 in the units place in their squares also. 1 square is 1 and 11 square is 121. Similarly, 21 square is 441. So in all the cases, the number at the units place is 1. Similarly, so if anyone asks you that what will be the units place digit in the square of 41, then we know that the units place will, whatever are the numbers here, but at the units place there will definitely be 1. Okay, now similarly if we observe here, so where else we are having 1? Just let's see in the squares, in the square of 9. So what do we observe here? First thing we observe here, if we go through the numbers, then the numbers are categorized into even and odd numbers. So first thing, what do we observe here? That square of 1 is 1 and 11 is 121, square of 2 is 4 and 12 is 144, 3 is 9 and 13 is 169. That means the square of even numbers are even. Square of even numbers are even and the square of odd numbers are odd. Okay, it is never like that the square of an even number will be odd and of odd number will be even. They are always even numbers have even numbers as a square and odd numbers have odd numbers as a square. Now, the next thing is that we were talking about, that what comes at the units place that we can identify from the number itself. So, in the square of 1 there is always 1 at the units place, and even in the square of 9 there is always 1 at the units place. So, we will just write here that on units place, which are the numbers which are coming on the units place in the squares of the numbers. Okay, so we have already observed that there is 1 which is in the square of 1, the numbers ending with 1, as well as in the numbers ending with 9. Okay, now if we see the square of 2, then that is 4 and the square of 12 is 144. Okay, so what do we observe? That the numbers which end with 2, their squares end with 4. And moreover, here also if we see, then the numbers which ends with A, that means the numbers which are having 8 at the units place, their squares have 4 at the units place. Okay, so 4 also comes in the units place of the squares and it comes in 2 as well as 8. So 1 comes in the square of numbers ending with 1 and 9. Okay, 4 comes in the numbers ending with 2 and 8. Okay, now the third number if we see, then let's see, come to 5. Then the digits with end with 5, their squares also end with 5. So we can write here 5, and the digits with end with 5, numbers with ends with 5, a digit as 5, their squares are also ending with 5. That means at unit place there is 5 in both the cases. Now if we come to 4 here, okay, now if we come to 4, then the square of 4 is 16. That means in the units place we are having 6. In 14 we are having at units place again 6. Okay, again if we come here at 6, if we observe 6, then here also at units place there is 6 and in 16 also there is 6. That means the numbers which end with 4 and 6 in the squares, there are 6. Okay, the numbers which are having 4 and 6 at the units place in the square, we are having always 6. Okay, so that means 6 also comes at the units place in the squares. Okay, now the last number remaining is 3 as well as 7. If we observe these two numbers, then in the square of these numbers there is 9 at the units place. Just see, 7 square is equal to 49 and 17 square is equal to 289. 3 square is equal to 9 and 13 square is equal to 169. So the numbers at the units place, if they are 3 and 7, then in their squares at the units place we will get always 9. Okay, so these are the numbers which come in the units place in the squares of the number. So if But just if someone asks you that by observing a particular number, can you tell that whether it is a perfect square, it can be a perfect square or not, then you can see that the number, if it ends with 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, then it can be a perfect square number. Okay, so if I talk about 289, then we can say that yes, it can be a perfect square because there is 9 at the end. Now if someone asks you that what are the possibilities of which number it can be a square, what can be a units place number in the square root of this number, then we can say that it can be, in case of 9, what we have seen, that either 3 or 7 can be in the units place. Okay, so I can say that either in the units place there will be 3 or there will be 7. Okay, similarly if we are asked of 625, then we know that when the 5 is at units place, the square root will also have 5 at the units place. So here we can say that whatever be the, it can be a perfect. First, if anyone asks that if it can, is it a perfect square, then we can say yes, it can be a perfect square, but in the units place, in the square root, they should be 5 only. Okay, so if I ask you a number like 127, can it be a perfect square? Now see, we have observed that in the squares of all the numbers, there are either 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9 at the units place, or there are double zero. Okay, now if I ask you that can 127 be a perfect square of any number, then what my answer will be? No. Okay, your answer should be no. Why? Because at the units place there can be 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. Except this, if there are numbers like 2, 3, 7 or 8 in the units place, they cannot be a perfect square. Okay, so if you are asked any number, like if you are asked 328 whether it is a perfect square, then you can directly say that no, it can't be a perfect square, because in any perfect square number 8 does not come in the units place. Okay, so this is the thing we can recognize. We have made this chart only for this reference, that by just observing the number you can tell whether it is a perfect square or not. Okay, so if I give you a number like 343, is it a perfect square? No, it is not a perfect square, because 3 does not come in the perfect square of any number, okay, at the units place, and here we are having 3 at the units place. Okay, so it is not a perfect square. So what do we observe from this? That on units place either there should be 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. Okay, if there is 1 at the units place, then the number in the square root should have 1 or 9 at the units place. If there is 4 in the square of any number, then that means in the square root of that number there should be either 2 or 8 in the units place. If there is 5 in any number, in the square of any number in the units place, that means in the square root also there should be 5 at the units place. If there is 6 in the square of any number, just see 6 in the square of any number, then that means in the units place of that number there should be either 4 or 6. And if there is 9 in the square of any number, here we are having 9, here we are having 9, that means at units place there should be 3 or 7. Okay, so this with the help of this we can solve our exercises. If we are asked that what should be the number at the units place in the square root of this particular number, then we can solve with the help of this information. Okay, so up to here we have studied that which number do not lie on the units place in the perfect square number. Those are 2, 3 and then 7 and 2, 3, 7 and 8. These are not on the units place. Okay, if they are on the units place, that means that number is not a perfect square number. Okay, now what is the, now from this table one more thing we can observe. Okay, now I am erasing this. What else we can observe from this table? Now there are squares written of all the numbers from 1 to 20. Now if we are asked that what is the difference between the two consecutive square numbers. Two consecutive square numbers. What are the consecutive square numbers which comes one after the other? After 1, the next square number is always 4. Okay. After 4, the next perfect square number is only 9. After 9, there is 16. Between that, there is no perfect square number. Okay. If I just ask you that without calculating the square root of that number or without calculating the square of any number, just tell me what will be the difference between the square of those two numbers. So if I ask you that what is the difference between the square of 7 and 8, then how will you find it? By taking the square of 8 and then taking the square of 7 and then subtracting it? No, but I am asking that without calculating the squares of those numbers. So there is a formula related to it, that what we are supposed to do is 2n, means if I suppose this number as n, then this number will be n plus 1. Okay, so if I want to find out the difference in the square of these two numbers, that means 8 square minus 7 square, then what formula I will use here, what trick I will use here, it will always be equal to 2n plus 1. Difference between two consecutive perfect square numbers, that is always equal to 2n plus 1. N is always the smaller number. Okay, so if I want the difference between the square of 8 and 7, then what I will do, 2 into 7 plus 1, that means 14 plus 1, it will be equal to 15. Now let's see whether our answer is correct or not. So 8 square is 64 and 7 square is 49. 64 minus 49 will always be equal to 15. Okay, so difference between two consecutive perfect square numbers is always 2n plus 1, in which n we are supposed to take as the smaller number. Okay, let us take one more example. If I ask you the difference between the squares of 21 and 22. Okay, so I am asking the difference between the squares of 21 and 22. That means what I am asking, what will be the value of 22 square minus 21 square. So it will be a long procedure if I take the square of both these numbers and then subtract, but I know the formula that it will be 2n plus 1. So what will I do? I'll just multiply 2 to 21, that means 42, and the difference between the squares will be 42 plus 1, 2 into 21 plus 1, that means 42 plus 1, the difference will be 43. That means you can calculate and find out that 22 square minus 21 square will be equal to 43. Okay, now this question is asked in another way also. We are asked that difference between, I have asked in the similar way, we can also be asked that how many numbers are between numbers between the two consecutive perfect square numbers. Here we are asked the number of numbers between the two perfect square numbers. Okay, in that case we are just supposed to write 2n. That means the number of numbers between the square of 8 and 7 is equal to only 14. That means the double of smaller number. That means 2 into 7, that will be equal to 14. Okay, the concept goes like this, that if I ask you that how many, what is the difference between 7 and 3, then what will you do? 7 minus 3, 7 minus 3, that is equal to 4. So the difference between 7 and 3 is 4. But if I ask you that there are how many numbers lying between 7 and 3, then you will tell me 1, 2 and 3. There are only 3 numbers. So there is a difference between the concept of difference and between. When we are asked between, in that case it is less than 1 by difference. So if I ask you how many numbers are there between 7 and 3, then my answer will be 3. There are only 3 numbers, this, this and this. Okay, so that is why the number of numbers between two consecutive perfect square numbers is equal to 2n. That means smaller number multiplied by 2. And the difference between two consecutive perfect square numbers is 2n plus 1. That means the smaller number multiplied by 2 plus 1. Okay, so that is the concept of difference between the square of two consecutive numbers. Okay, now the next thing. Any perfect square number can be expressed as the sum of all the odd numbers, okay, starting from 1. Okay, all the consecutive odd numbers starting from 1. Okay, now let's see how it goes. Now 1 square. Now 1, if I take the square of 1, then before 1 or up to 1 only one odd number comes, and that is 1. So the square of 1 is equal to 1 odd number is there, so the square of 1 is also 1. Okay, 1 square is equal to 1. We are not adding anything here. Okay, so that is equal to 1 square. Now if I take 2, after 1 there are 2 odd numbers that I am taking. After 1 the odd number comes as 3. Okay, so how many odd numbers are here? 2. Now 1 plus 3 is equal to 4, and that will be equal to 2 square. Okay, so 4 can be expressed as the sum of all the odd numbers, consecutive odd numbers coming before it. Okay, now similarly, if I take one more odd number after 3, 1 plus 3 plus 5, that is equal to 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. Now 9 is the square of 3. 3 odd numbers we have taken, so it is the square of 3. Okay, so every perfect square number can be expressed as the sum of all the odd numbers starting from 1. Okay, starting from 1 up to that number. Okay, now next, so like this it continues. If I take one more, that means 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. Okay, next odd number is 7. So 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 7, it is 16. So it is the square of 4. Okay, like this the series goes on. Okay, so every perfect square number can be expressed as the sum of successive odd numbers starting from 1. All the odd numbers, whenever we go on adding, then it gives a perfect square number. Now, the next thing, when we are given two consecutive odd numbers or even numbers, these were the consecutive square numbers we were taking, perfect square numbers. Now, when we are given two consecutive even numbers or two consecutive odd numbers. Now, I'll take the example of two consecutive even numbers first and then the odd numbers. Now, let us take, from this only we will take 6 and 8. These are the two numbers that I am taking. Okay, 6 and 8. Okay, and two odd numbers, any two odd numbers if I take, then I'll take 16 and 17. No, 16, 17 and 19. Let us take 17 and 19. Okay, now what is the thing between them? Let us take small numbers. 7 and 9 will be better here because we need to multiply it. Okay, so whenever we take the product of these two numbers and add 1 to it, it gives the square of the middle number. Okay, that means whenever I will multiply these two numbers and add 1 to it, it will be equal to what comes between 6 and 8? 7. It will be equal to the square of 7. Let's see. 6 8s are 48. 48 plus 1 gives us 49. So always it will be equal to the square of the middle number. whatever number we take, so it is equal to 7 square. Similarly, I am taking 7 and 9. What comes between 7 and 9? 8 comes. Now the formula goes like this only, that multiply both of them, product of two consecutive even numbers or two consecutive odd numbers added to 1 gives the square of the number between them, number lying between them. So 7 9s are 63 plus 1 is equal to 64, and that is equal to 8 square. The number between these two is 8. You can take any number like that. If I take here 3 and 5. So 3 and 5 are two consecutive odd numbers. What comes between them is 4. So 3 into 5 plus 1. Let's see, 3 5s are 15 plus 1 gives us 16, and that is the square of 4. Okay, so the product of two consecutive odd numbers or two consecutive even numbers added to 1 gives the square of the number lying between them. Okay, like this the concept goes. So there are many such tricks related to squares, perfect square numbers. Now one more is there, and that is Pythagorean triplet. You have already gone through the Pythagoras theorem in class 7th also. All of you know that. In that, what is a Pythagorean triplet? In that, the square of two numbers is the sum of the square of two numbers is equal to the square of the third number. Okay, now that is the relation which can be expressed in the form of a formula also, and that is that in a Pythagorean triplet the three numbers are such that the product sum of the squares of two numbers is equal to the square of the third one. So the relation between them can be expressed like that, that any number m greater than 1, m should be greater than 1, in that case 2m whole square, okay, plus m minus 1, m square minus 1 whole square is always equal to m square plus 1 whole square. This forms the Pythagorean triplet. We can take any number m greater than 1, okay, and if we put it in this formula, we get a Pythagorean triplet. Okay, now any number greater than 1, let us take 2. Okay, if m is equal to 2, then in that case what will we put here? 2 multiplied by 2 square plus, now m square minus 1, that means 2 square. 2 square will be equal to 4 minus 1 square is equal to again 2 square plus 1, let us write directly 4 here, square. Okay, now 2 2s are 4. Okay, 4 square gives us 16. Okay, 4 minus 1 3. 3 square gives us 9 is equal to 4 plus 1 5 square gives us 25. Now see, LHS is equal to RHS. 16 plus 9 is equal to 25, and already in the RHS it is equal to 25. So any number m greater than 1 when taken as 2m whole square plus m square minus 1 is always equal to m square plus 1 whole square. Okay, now in this which type of questions are asked to you? The questions that are asked to you generally goes like this, that write a Pythagorean triplet whose smallest number is 8. We are supposed to find out a Pythagorean triplet in which the smallest member is 8. In a Pythagorean triplet, it is a triplet, so 3 members will be there. We are given that the smallest member is equal to 8. Now other two we are supposed to find. Which are the other two? We already know with the help of formula that the other two are 2m square. Okay. The next one is m square minus 1 whole square. Okay. And the third one is m square plus 1 whole square. Now in this we can observe that if we are given that the smallest member is 8, then that means the smallest member, this can't be the smallest member. Okay, because it is m square plus 1. Okay, here we are subtracting 1 from m square. So obviously this number will be smaller than this. Okay, so this will be the greatest, so 8 can't be taken as m square plus 1 whole square. M square minus 1 whole square and 2m whole square. Now for any number, its square will always be greater than its twice, only except in case of 2. Okay, except in case of 2, in rest of the numbers its square will always be greater than 2m. This implies that the smallest member will always be 2m. So what we take here, the smallest will be this, the second will be this, and the largest will be this. This will always be the hypotenuse. Now here 2m, that means we should suppose that smallest number 8, that means 2m should be equal to 8. So we will find out the value of m here, so m will be equal to 4. Now we are supposed to find the next two members. So next two members we will just put the value of m here. So taking here m square. Now we are already given the Pythagorean triplet that 2m square plus m square minus 1 will be equal to m square plus 1 whole raised to the power 2. Now what we are supposed to find here is m square minus 1. The side, one of the side we already know, one of the member of the Pythagorean triplet we already know that it is equal to 8. So we have already taken that 2m is equal to 8, so m is equal to 4. Now next member we are supposed to find is m square minus 1. So m square minus 1 will be equal to, we have taken the value of m, calculated the value of m as equal to 4. So m square minus 1, that means 4 square minus 1. So that will be equal to 16 minus 1, that is equal to 15. Now the last member will be m square plus 1. Okay, so m square plus 1 will be equal to again 4 square plus 1, and that will be equal to 16 plus 1, 17. So the three members, we can take these three members, either you can write the whole Pythagorean triplet, or you can take the three members as 2m, m square minus 1 and m square plus 1. So we have got all the three members. One was this 2m is equal to 8. The second member we have calculated m square minus 1 is equal to 15, and the third member we have calculated m square plus 1 is equal to 17. Okay, so the three members, or the answer will be the three members of the Pythagorean triplet with 8 as the smallest member is 8, 15 and 17. Okay, like this the question may be asked. So these were the some concepts related to the square numbers, perfect square numbers and square roots. Okay, hope you understood it very well. Even in the first exercise in the textbook, in NCERT book, is related to these concepts only. These concepts should be very clear to you. Okay, so hope you understood it very well. Do not forget to subscribe for the channel. Again remind you, and the link for other videos is also given in the description box. Okay, so do share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.